Hi guys, it's Kian. Today we are back with part 2 of the Switch ranking video. So I'm going to continue where I last left off, which is I'm going to rank Switch Waseon. So let's go. Okay, next one, Waseon. Waseon is an S tier. He was the first Switch boy that I ever got. I bought him in Platina. I bought both my Sohwa and Waseon in Platina in person at the shop. I think Waseon is a very versatile sculpt. He looks really good in like 99% of like pictures, and he looks really good in like owner pictures, promo pictures, the 10 version, the pale version. I honestly think he's just like a really good looking doll. I think Sohwa is a bit slightly more difficult to style, I guess. There are some Sohwas that I don't like the vibe of nearly as much. Like, it never really goes very low, but I feel like Waseon is like, almost all the Waseons are like A to S tiers, and then for Sohwa I feel like, depending on the styling of the owner, sometimes he could like go down to maybe a B tier, which is still pretty high. But just like the base sculpt itself, I would say I really like both Sohwa and Waseon, but like in different ways. And I think like people agree that Waseon is a really good looking sculpt, and a lot of people really like him. I think it goes without saying that he's S tier. And like Soseo, I think he's one of the distinctive faces of Switch. Like, I think he's one of those sculpts that people instinctively think of when they think of Switch. Haji R. So Haji R is going into C. I feel like Haji makes a pretty girl. He's so young looking as a boy. Ajeong C. So Ajeong C I really like the promo pictures of. I think I'm biased because there's like blood and bandages and wounds. Well, yeah, that's just my preference, right? But I think he does look pretty good. Like, he looks like a very clean-cut boy, but I've also seen owner pictures, especially of him bruised up. I really like those. I'm gonna put him in B. Milhwa R. Milhwa Revenger version. Milhwa Revenger is cuter than the original Milhwa. I really like this promo pic face up as well. It's gonna go into A. I would say though, I think Milhwa R is not a very popular sculpt. I mean, I think a fair amount of people own him, but he doesn't appear that often. Ahi is like Ahi and Mori, I think, are limited sculpts or something. Because I don't think I've seen a lot of them. Ahi is very cute though. In his promo pics, I don't remember seeing any owner pictures of him. He's going into B, and Mori is also going into B. There's something about their lips that I find very appealing. Could also be the face up, but like, I can't remember offhand what their blank faces look like, so yeah, but I think they're really cute. Holy Seolrok. Holy Seolrok is A, I think. I don't think this promo pic is like the best photo ever of him, but Holy Seolrok has a lot of potential, especially with his tongue parts and teeth parts. Does he have tongue parts? With his mouth parts. And I feel like Holy Seolrok and Holy Soseo have a lot of potential to be like cool or like bloody because of their mouth. So they rank higher, I think. Hwahui is a doll that I actually quite wanted as a girl. Hwahui also has like a mouth part, and I don't know, I just find it appealing. At this point in time, I would say I don't like Hwahui as a boy actually. I think he's too pretty and too young looking for like my taste. But like as a girl, I'll rank him as an A. As a boy, I feel like maybe B. I'm just gonna put him in A because I also put Hyo in A, and like I feel like Hyo nowadays I would probably see as a girl sculpt rather than as a boy, like if I ever own one. So I feel like Hwahui deserves his or her fair chance on A tier. Dojin and Seojin. So man, I'm doing my best to go through this as quickly as I can, but I feel like I'm still taking a long time. So I remember the release of Dojin and Seojin, because I remember thinking that this was like a slightly different vibe than what Switch originally had. I remember thinking that they look kind of old compared to like the other sculpts of Switch, which I think it's fair to say, given that there's a lot of like high school looking boys in their repertoire at this point in time. But I would say, given their recent release, which has like more older looking vibes, Dojin and Seojin are not that out of sync. But I remember back in the days, I thought that they look kind of old compared to the rest of the sculpts that Switch had to offer. Yeah, I don't particularly like the blank sculpt for both of them, but I know Dojin can look really cool with the right face up. And he has a very interesting face, with a very interesting tongue part, so there's definitely a lot of potential in Dojin, even though I'm not the biggest fan of his blank face, but I think he has a lot of potential after being faced up. I will put him in B. And like Seojin is gonna go into D just because I feel like other sculpts kinda do it more for me than Seojin. So yeah, moving on. Holy Soseo. Holy Soseo is like really, really cute. The question is, does he go into S tier or A tier? I'm just gonna put him in S tier. I think he's really, really cute. I kind of regret not getting him. If you look at one of my really old chit-chat videos, I did talk about the release of Holy Soseo at a point in time, and I said how my friend was gonna get it. My friend did not get it. So I never got to see one in real life. But I've seen a lot of pictures of him and I think he's really cute. And I really like the vampire concept with this doll. And I think in general, recently I found like open mouth dolls more appealing. Maybe because like they have a lot more range of expression. And that's something that my current crew doesn't really have. Except for Vi, who I obviously got for that reason. So I think that's my taste at the moment. I kind of prefer open mouth sculpts because they have a lot of potential to do like different expressions. Ryuzo. So I own 2 Ryuzos, but I gotta say, I did not take notice of him during the promo pics. I didn't know of the Ryuzo sculpt until I saw the Mocha Ryuzo, with the Pavo face up, which is the one that I currently have, and that was what got me into Ryuzos. I think it's just like how he was styled in his original promo pictures that like doesn't quite appeal to me. But then like the way that he was done in the Mocha version with Pavo's face up really did it for me. And then like now, having owned the doll, I realize he has a lot of potential. He has the potential to be cheeky as well, actually. He has slightly of the, the colon 3 face. He has a bit of that if you want to emphasize it. And he has the potential to be cool as well. But I would say his promo pics were not really that great. I'm going to put him in A tier, slightly lower than Sohwa and Waseon, just because I feel like he is kind of like not as easy to style. Next, Haseo. Haseo is dreaming Soseo, I think. Is it? No, that's Soha. Or maybe he's sleeping Soseo. I think Soha and Haseo are like released as twins. I don't know whether what's the difference between them. Anyway, strangely enough, I don't find Haseo nearly as appealing as Soha. I don't know why, it could just be the pictures. I'm just gonna put him in D, so that I don't put like all the Soseo variations in the same tier, minus Holy Soseo, who is the god tier of Soseos. Hence, well, not hence, but like he is Holy Soseo, right? So, okay, anyway. Next we have Gyoha and Gyoha D. Gyoha is the version with the one open eye and one closed eye, dreaming eye. And then Gyoha D is the one with the 2 open eye, Gyoha Divine. I think a lot of people get confused between these 2. I also often get confused between these 2 because they were released around the same time. Or they released at the same time and then one of them is like both open eye and one of them is like one closed eye. I like the idea of these dolls and I like the promo pics. And I really, really like the mouth, but I don't really like Gyoha's nose because it's, I guess, kind of, it's not that it's flat as in like it's not sharp, but the tip of it is a bit blunt. Like the tip of his nose is not very nice without a face up. Like when it's blank. And I know that I can put a face up on it to make it nicer, but I would say the most interesting Gyoha / Gyoha D that I've seen is Laminar Flow's Gyoha D, because usually I see Gyoha D styled as like a cool guy with like a very dark and edgy look, but Laminar Flow's Gyoha D kinda... I thought it was a Dojin at first. So yeah, it really opened my mind to this sculpt, like, hey, he can kinda go for a different look than just like the dark edgy look. I mean, I love the dark edgy look, so nothing wrong with that, but it opened my mind to the fact that this sculpt has a lot of other potential. I'll say Gyoha ranks a bit lower than Gyoha D to me, just because I don't know what to do with one closed eye and one open eye. I'm gonna put Gyoha in like C and Gyoha D in A. B. Next we have Doha. I think people actually quite like Doha. I don't know, there's something about him that I don't really like. I don't know why. There's something about him that I find a bit like doesn't appeal to me. I think it's mainly in his eyes, and I'm not very sure what about it. I think it's the shape, but I don't know what. And I'm just gonna put him in D. I don't know why. He is generally an appealing sculpt, I would say. But like, he hits all the points that to me should be appealing, but I just for some reason find him not really as appealing as like the other sculpts. Huisa D. So Huisa D is one of the dolls that I like much better than the original Huisa. I mean, one of the examples of the dolls where they did a redone version, where I like the redone version better. I tend to get Huisa D and Ajeong a bit mixed up sometimes, honestly, just because they kind of both have that potential to be like clean cut. And I guess their sculpting is somewhat similar as well. I like Ajeong C a bit more than I like Huisa though, but I think they're both still in B tier. Okay, next. Pavian is basically like Dreaming Waseon, but for some reason he doesn't look nearly as cool as Waseon. He is a monthly doll, and I think him being a monthly doll and Waseon still being, I think, a much more popular sculpt than him says something about his appeal. I don't know what it is about the open night Waseon, but he is so much cooler than Pavian. I'll put Pavian in like C, just cause, you know, he's still cute. He has like all the cute Waseon features, like the nose and the lips, but something about his eyes being closed makes him not as cool. I don't know why. Yido is another sculpt that I feel like I don't like the promo makeup of, and like I just completely overlook him until I saw like owner pictures and I saw the Yido Inferno, which is the Dreaming Eye Yido. I like Yido. I just don't like these promo pics. I would say Yido is A tier for me. Like, it's not that the promo pics are not nice. I just don't like how... Like, I don't like the vibe he portrays in it. Damhyeon? Damhyeon? Okay, anyway. It's also another doll that I don't fancy the promo pics, but he looks so cool in owner pictures, and I think he is A tier for me. I like the original Damhyeon because of his the smirk that he has. He also has a very chonky nose, but it's still sharp. I like chonky noses when they're sharp enough. I can't quite describe it. He has a very distinct, like, his nose and Sohwa's nose are the noses that I really, really like in Switch. And then, of course, Waseon has a cute nose too, but Waseon's nose is kind of a different vibe. Waseon's nose is a bit more of a, like, it turns out at the end and it's kind of cute. But then Sohwa and Damhyeon kind of have more of a, like a cone-shaped nose. Like, it's a bit more straight. I can't describe it, but like, I like Damhyeon's nose and I like his smirk. Yido Inferno I like more than the original Yido actually, but I don't like him enough to put him in S tier, so I'm just gonna put him in A. But I do like the Dreaming Yido more than I like the original Open Night Yido. Next, Seolrok Somnia. Okay, so according to Genki Yankee, who has a Holy Seolrok and who has painted like the Somnia version of Seolrok, the Somnia version is apparently closer to the original Seolrok in the sculpting. And the Holy Seolrok has some slight differences in sculpting, like thinner or something. I can't really remember, but the Somnia Seolrok is closer to the original Seolrok, while the Holy Seolrok is actually slightly modified. But I suppose these are very minor differences that maybe you won't notice when you just look at the doll, but because she paints them so she knows that there's a difference, right? Anyway, Seolrok Somnia is cute, but not as cute as Holy Seolrok. Wait, where did I put the original Seolrok? Okay, I put the original Seolrok in C and Holy in A, so I'm gonna put like Somnia in B. Because he's kind of between like the two versions of Seolrok. Taerin. I like Taerin as a girl, not like a young boy. But of all the versions of Taerin, right, I would say I like the original Taerin pretty much, quite a bit. I don't like the closed mouth version of Taerin as much, which is Taerin Bijou. But the favourite version of Taerin that I like is Taerin Eclipse, which will come later. The original Taerin is pretty cute though. And if I like owning girls, I would have one, but then I don't. So I'm gonna put Taerin in B, just because I want to put Taerin Eclipse in A later. Hwayeon. I feel like Hwayeon is like one of the sculpts that Switch started doing more of like a round-ish nose. Again, I don't quite know how to describe it, but I'll just tell you a few of the noses that I think are similar to Hwayeon's, right? So I think Hwayeon, Ruan, Rion, Yozo kind of have a similar vibe of noses. More of a similar vibe of the nose. Like, it's a bit more round. Like, the bottom bulbous part of... Not the bottom bulbous part, but bottom, like, you know, the two flaps on the side of the nose. Like, the way it sits on the face, I feel like is kind of similar. And if I were to describe the noses, I feel like noses like Sohwa, Damhyeon, Soseo, Taeho, the earlier Switch sculpt noses are sharper. And then like Hwayeon, Rion, Yozo, Ruan has a bit more like of a rounder vibe of a nose. I like Hwayeon because of his smirk. And I'm gonna put him in A. But I do feel like he's one of the dolls that like can go either way depending on the styling. Rion. Rion is a sculpt that I personally don't really like. I don't really like his blank face, and so far I don't really find his pictures, both the company and the owners, one that appealing. But with that said, there have been like one or two Rions that made me change my mind. Let me know if Flo's Rion is really cute, but I don't know if it's the way that she takes pictures as well that makes him look better than the other pictures. I don't generally like Rion, and I am gonna put him in E. I don't really like his face actually. And I think the part of it is like I find his nose a bit too long for my liking. Yozo. Yozo is, when I first saw his pictures come out, I thought like if I don't have Gabby right now, so like I don't know, rewind like 10, 11 years, and like I was getting into the hobby, like I feel like I would have gotten Yozo as like Gabby instead of the CP Liché sculpt. He doesn't look the same, but he gives me the same vibes as like there are certain features that he has that gives me the same vibes of the Dreaming Liché, like the dreaming eyes, the kind of like smiling lips, and like a cute pointy nose. Like, I don't think they objectively look similar, but when I first saw Yozo, that was honestly the thought that I had. I was like, if I didn't have Gabby as a CP Dreaming Liché, and if I am getting my doll for the first time, like if I'm a brand new doll owner and I wanted to resculpt Gabby, reshell Gabby, I would have gotten a Yozo. Just because like, back in the days, SD13, or 10 even, was like the common size, and that's what Gabby was. And I feel like nowadays, SD17/65cm is the new like small boy size, just cause all the big boys are like Idealan 75 or like HID size. There's a lot of 75cm boys out there right now, and I think as a result of that, SD17 is now the default like small boy size to me. Even though because I have I do still have SD13 boys that like I don't see SD17 as the small boy size, but for like owners who have a lot of like 70, 75 cm dolls, I would say SD17 is like the short size. So like in that kind of context, I feel like Yozo would be a good fit for Gabby. But A or B? I'm gonna put Yozo in A. I feel like some of the dolls in A tier are also there for nostalgia reason. Like, I would not own a Hwayeon right now, but I like him out of nostalgia. Next, Choyo. Choyo I see as a girl sculpt, although I suppose you can use him as a cute boy. I don't find Choyo any particularly more interesting as a girl sculpt, but I think it's also the fact that I don't really want to own a girl nowadays. I'm putting Choyo in E, not because she's not cute, but just because she doesn't appeal to me. Ruan, I didn't like when he first came out. I am starting to change my opinion of him right now, as in not like literally right now, but more recently. I think he has potential to be interesting, but I think he hasn't been released for long enough for me to see more interesting owner pictures of him yet. He's currently a monthly sculpt though, so I don't know why, but I think the monthly sculpts don't, like, not as many people buy them. I suppose because they are around more often than the like limited runs. So limited runs, not run. Yeah, I suppose because they are not limited that people wait around to buy them. I'm putting him in C just because I think he has potential. I guess we'll see. Seolrok H as in Seolrok Hiver, not as in Holy Seolrok. So unfortunately, with how short the way I decided to do their names are, it makes it seem like Holy Seolrok and Seolrok Hiver are the same, but they're not. Seolrok Hiver is basically Seolrok with a closed, like a plugged mouth. Does that make sense? So instead of a mouth part that you insert at the back, the mouth is just, it is still an open mouth, but it is sculpted in, so it's not like there's an extra part at the back that you can take out. So I think all the other Seolroks actually have tongue parts or mouth parts at the back that you can take out, but Seolrok Hiver doesn't have that. And because of that, I'm gonna rank him lower. Well, maybe not lower, I'm gonna rank him the same as the original Seolrok, but I think it's more fun to have the tongue parts movable. Okay, well, we're almost there. Next, Ryuzo Persona. Ryuzo Persona is like basically Dreaming Ryuzo, but with some slight differences. I saw of adornment. I don't think I'll be able to find the comparison pictures anymore because it was an IG story. It was an Instagram story, but like they were comparing Ryuzo and Ryuzo Persona. So Ryuzo Persona is slightly different. Other than the dreaming eye, I think they have reduced they have filled up the mouth a bit more so that it's not so deep set inside. Even though Ryuzo Persona doesn't, the original Ryuzo doesn't have an open mouth, but I guess it's a bit more deep set, and then like they push the parting of the lips to be a bit more like forward in Ryuzo Persona, so that I guess it's easier to pin. I think Ryuzo Persona is as cute as Ryuzo, just like, you know, dreaming. So he's going into A tier. His promo pictures are better than the original Ryuzo's one though, I would say. Gyoha M. Gyoha M I don't find as appealing as Gyoha Divine. I just don't like it when the open mouth becomes like a plucked mouth, if that makes sense. I prefer having teeth parts as extra bits. Because when the mouth gets too deep, it's very difficult to remove face-ups. So that's why I don't like closed. I don't like open mouths that are stuck on the face, which unfortunately Vi's mouth is like that. It's like really difficult to remove the face-up residues from. Taerin Bijou I don't like as much as the original Taerin. He's going into D tier. The next one is Yiwon. Yiwon to me reminds me of like somewhere between Yido and Taerin. I don't know why. But I guess kind of cute. I still like Taerin more though, so Yiwon's going into C. Sehan I don't really like as much because his nose is very broad. He has, I would say, a distinctively more different look. He's a bit closer to like, he kind of reminds me of Seolrok in terms of the nose, like it's a bit wider. but he also has a bit more of a square chin and like less of a typical pretty boy look, I guess. So like I would say he's very broad in general, like his features are very broad, and I don't know, he doesn't really appeal to me that much. I'm putting him in D. Taerin Eclipse is A tier. I like that she has like little vampire teeth, but again, right, what's with the plug mouth? Can you just do like teeth parts so that it's easier to paint? I do know that the problem with open mouths having teeth parts is that sometimes the paint gets chipped when you put the mouth parts in because of like friction and the fact that it's like two pieces moving in the head. Like it's a piece moving against the head piece lah. So, but I just personally prefer that. I'd rather have a teeth or mouth part rather than like a plug mouth. Damhyeon Crescent. So Damhyeon Crescent is, if I didn't misunderstand the translation on Yian's Instagram, is Damhyeon, but basically resculpted to give a same vibe. So I'm not sure I fully like correctly understand what they wrote on the IG page, but if you look at the blank version, Damhyeon Crescent actually is not the same sculpt as the original Damhyeon. So like the nose is different, the lips are different, the nose is not nearly as like sharp, not the literal like angle, but like not the literal like slope of the nose is not as sharp, but what I mean is like the angles of like the contours around the nose are not as sharp as the original Damhyeon, and like the lips are so very different. The lips are no longer like the original one, which is like a smirk and like quite a distinct like clear sculpting line, but it's more of a soft vibe, closer to how Ruan's lips are. And some people like that, but I don't really. I prefer the sharper look of the original Damhyeon. But I think it's quite amazing that like even though it's a redone sculpting to look like the original Damhyeon. So I believe what she wrote in her IG page is that this is like a redone version of Damhyeon, and the reason why it's crescent is because like, you know, it's like a new moon, a new like, I guess, rethinking of Damhyeon. If I'm wrong about this, please correct me. I mainly read a Google translated version of what she wrote about how Damhyeon Crescent is sculpted, but like I find the idea very appealing, and I really like the promo pictures of Damhyeon Crescent, but when it comes down to like blank face, right, I prefer the original Damhyeon. And if I would ever own a Damhyeon, I would get the original one, not the Crescent one. But I'm just gonna put Damhyeon Crescent in A as well, just cause, you know, he is a very appealing guy. I would say maybe I would just not know how to paint him as well. The last one is Sanhong, who is, I think, meant to be a girl? Yeah, I think it's meant to be a girl. Sanhong, I think I kind of just gloss over the girl dolls. I would put her in D just because I don't particularly notice her, and I don't like, yeah, it's just a sculpt that I kind of just gloss over because I'm not looking for female dolls. Anyway, oh man, I hope this is not a really like ridiculously long video, but this is my Switch sculpts all ranked. I'm reviewing it again. I'm surprised I only put 3 dolls in S tier, and then there's quite a bunch in A and B and C, and then D, E, F has quite much lesser, but there's still quite a number of them. I'm gonna put a link to the tier maker so you can do this list yourself if you want to, and feel free to share like your completed ranks with me in the comments below as well. And if you've gotten all the way to the end of this video, please comment potato, the potato emoji, so I know you are listening. I don't know who is listening all the way to the end of this really long video, but thank you for doing so, and I hope to see you all next week. Alright, bye!